Hi YouTube! Welcome to day 31 of my birthday countdown vlog. 9 more days until I turn 40. So let's see, 9 years old, that would be 1981. That year I did a lot of transferring schools. So like I said in my vlog yesterday, I had transferred in the second half of 4th grade into that private school. Well, at the beginning of 1981, it was the second half of 3rd grade, was the first time I actually transferred over there. And then after the summer break, I was so sick after the first half of a year of the lack of education I was getting that I actually transferred back to my original elementary school for the beginning of 4th grade, and then was being harassed and bullied too much again, and then transferred back to that private school at the end of 4th grade, or in the middle of 4th grade. So, so I was doing a lot of that kind of thing, back and forth, because yeah, 3rd grade was difficult for me. It didn't help that I was in an advanced reading class, so I transferred part of the day I spent in a 4th grade classroom for reading, and then I went back to my regular classroom, and the kids, you know, they were not very nice to those of us who were in the sort of advanced gifted programs at the school. And so, you know, like I said yesterday, I was constantly being harassed, I was being beat up. There was one time I remember I was trying to come home from school, and I was supposed to come home straight from school, and that day, it was a nice day out, I didn't feel like going home right away, so I decided I really wanted to go to the playground and swing on the swings a little bit. And I was just doing it for, I don't know, 20 minutes, but by the time I was done, the schoolyard had basically cleared out, everyone had gone home. But a couple of the bullies had stayed behind, and there was some construction going on at the time, and it was a big pile of rocks just outside the fence of the school. And they climbed up on that pile of rocks and started throwing them at me. Rather hard. They actually hit me a couple of times, and it hurt. And so I had to duck in under the slide and use that as a shield. They couldn't hit me under there. And I waited, and I thought, well, if I wait long enough, they'll go away. Well, they kept throwing rocks at the slide, and so, you know, make big banging noises and things. And that lasted for a good hour. So at this point, I'm almost an hour and a half late coming home. I'm actually starting to get more upset about what my grandmother was going to say than about the bullies. But I couldn't outrun the bullies. I knew that if I tried to leave the schoolyard, they'd jump me again. And so I was really kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, literally. But finally the bullies got tired, or their parents called them, or I forget exactly what, but they finally left. And I started, you know, running home as quick as I could, and I made it about halfway home, and then I ran into my grandmother, who was coming to the school to look and see where I was. And she was so angry with me. And, you know, in the end it was partly my fault because I stayed behind. If I had left with everybody else, I would have been in, you know, with all the other kids and all the other parents and things that were there. And so I would have made it home without being harassed. However, because I stayed behind and the schoolyard was cleared out, and the bullies had the opportunity to come after me. So, and of course that made Omi worry, and she was afraid that I was being, you know, kidnapped or murdered or worse. She always had the worst case scenario in her head. So yeah, so that's why at the beginning of that year I transferred to the private school, but like I said yesterday, I really didn't learn anything there, and I was so mind-numbingly bored that I transferred back at the beginning of 4th grade, only just to get, you know, have to deal with the harassment again, and so I ran back to that private school. And unfortunately, there were You know, they weren't, neither options were the best option. And it wasn't until 6th grade when I finally transferred to a different public school that I finally found a place where, I mean, I was still teased and I still had a couple of issues, but it wasn't anything quite as bad as what I was dealing with the first public school. So, yeah, that was my elementary school life. It wasn't the most pleasant experience, unfortunately, for me. All right, well, those are my recollections from 1981. Until tomorrow, bye.